Baldur's Gate 3 has been out for a while now, and as someone who's put in a damn load of time over multiple playthroughs, here's a few tips and tricks that I wish I knew sooner and unfortunately took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out before I actually put them in effect during my game. Once I learned all of these things, my god, were things that much easier. And of course, don't forget, if you watch this whole video and still have a tip that I didn't mention that you think is useful, pop it down in the comments for the rest of the community to learn and to grow. Now, tip number one has to be a simple one, and I really think that simplicity sometimes is the best way to go, especially in a game like Baldur's Gate 3. This is a monstrous game, a game where every single decision and action can have huge consequences. So what I would suggest is do not rely on the autosave feature. The autosave feature, while good, sometimes it can be a long time between auto saves. So do yourself a favor and keep a few manual saves. At least that way, if you do something wrong, if a save goes corrupt for whatever reason, or if you make a bad decision, you can reload and try again. Yes, it's called save scumming, but at the end of the day, you want to have fun, right? That is what this game is all about. It's about having as much fun as possible, and what a game to do so in. Tip number two, again, may be an obvious one, but use your long rests. Long rests are a great way to heal your parties. It's a free action. It does cost camp supplies, but it is essentially a free health bar for every single character you have. Not to mention, but you get to go over today's events, the things that happened today that affect the different characters that you have. You can have some seriously decent conversations with your characters within your long rest, as well as other quest-related things pop up when you return back to camp. Camp is something you're going to spend a lot of time in, so use it, use the features, see what it has to offer, and don't forget to take those rests when needed, even after every single battle. Tip number three is going to be to go into your options. I would recommend turning karmic dice off. Now, the reason I say that is because the way karmic dice actually work is that it prevents you and the enemy from having a string of bad luck. In other words, rolling critical fails again and again. But not only does that stop you from doing it, but it also stops the AI from doing it. So in other words, in those rather difficult battles, they're more likely to get better, more kinder dice. Do yourself a favor, turn it off, and have a little bit of an easier time. Tip number four is, did you know that you can customize all of your action bars? Now on PC, they are a little bit more tidy and a little bit more better put together. But over on console, they are a little bit chaotic. But did you know you can fully customize them? It took me an embarrassingly long time before I realized that you could actually customize those wheels. Now on PlayStation, all you do is press square, and after that you're able to select what you want and where you want it. This is incredibly powerful because you can put all your potions, all your scrolls, anything you want to be able to use when you want to be able to use it, nicely organized in its own little wheelhouse. Now, I'm not saying you have to organize every single item, every single way in which you can, but I would say that this can come really handy, especially if you want to find something in battle, but for whatever reason, it's not there. Tip number five is something that isn't so obvious at the beginning of your playthrough, but did you know that certain spells can be activated before fights? Not only before fights, but they can be activated for the entire day sometimes. Spells like Bless, spells that the Paladin and the Cleric can use. Spells like Magic Armor, for instance. You can even summon your spiritual weapons or your familiars or your other companions, your animal companions. All of these can be used before a fight actually begins. That way you go into the fight already buffed up, already with your full party. all ready to go from turn one. It means you don't have to waste an action actually using this while in combat. This can be a real lifesaver, especially in those harder battles. Tip number 6 will allow you to steal to your heart's content. If you're anything like me, I always find something lying down, lying around that I want to pick up that I know that I shouldn't. It's highlighted in red, meaning that I'm going to be stealing it if I use it. However, if you use a spell like fog cloud or even darkness, it will mean that anyone in that fog cloud or darkness will not be able to see what you're doing. It effectively blinds them, so you can steal to your heart's content, meaning that you can get some pretty nice items that would normally lead to you getting into a fight or meeting a sticky end. As you can see, I just robbed this shop blind. Now I can go up to the shopkeeper and everything is fine. That was with fog cloud. Again, we're going to do this with darkness as well. Another good thing you could do, obviously, when you're trying to steal something is distract the shopkeeper. Have one of your companions already talking to him, then skip out of combat, use another companion to steal to your heart's content. Of course, remember that someone else might be watching you. This is why I use darkness. Darkness is obviously a level 2 spell, a little bit harder to get, but much better to use in this circumstance. As you can see, once again, I was able to completely rob this shop blind and no one saw me do anything whatsoever. So do yourselves a favor, if you fancy a little 5-finger discount, use fog or use darkness. And as you can see, once again, this shop owner was none the wiser, didn't mind whatsoever, and I'm able to rinse and repeat. Tip number 7 is literally a lifesaver. Did you know that you can actually throw potions? So if you have a party member that needs meds, but they don't have any potions on them, or even if you have a couple of party members that need healing, you can throw potions of all kinds at your other party members, sometimes over great distances. This can be seriously useful in combat and happens to be one of the very important things I wish I knew sooner in my game. And tip number 8, because I forgot to mention it earlier in the video, is use your search zone. So on PlayStation, all you have to do is hold X and it will bring up an area in which you can search. Within that area is every single item that you can pick up in a game. It can be really hard to actually go over everything and individually interact with different objects, but this can be done for almost anything, whether it is picking up objects, hitting buttons, opening chests. It can be really useful to see things that perhaps you haven't seen with your own eye. But there we have it, guys. That is all of the tips and tricks that I wish I knew earlier in my game. Hopefully you learned something here in this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you have your own tips that you want to share, make sure you comment them below down in the comments for the rest of the community. And don't forget, we do actually have an active and growing Discord. The link is down in the description of the video. But until next time, I've been a monk, we've been a Kudos. I'll see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.